They were in trouble again at Coventry City. Darren Huckabee, a £1 million investment from Newcastle United, helped Coventry, though, to 3 straight wins over Christmas and New Year, scoring against his former club in a 2-1 win. Further goals at Leeds and against Middlesbrough gave Coventry hope of keeping their top-flight status of 31 years. Down at Chelsea, they were seeking inspiration from new courses. Marco van Basten trained at the club for a few days and couldn't have failed to have been impressed with Gianfranco Zola. Named Player of the Month for December, Zola's talents kept Chelsea in with an outside chance of the title and helped them reach the FA Cup final. In the league, though, Manchester United were starting to move on up. Over the festive period, they had a 100% record. Eric Cantona was also influential again. His exquisite lob capped a 5-0 success over Sunderland. United were up to second place, but they would have to catch Liverpool, who at the end of the year had opened up a 5-point lead. Arsenal, Wimbledon and Newcastle all still had title aspirations. Down at the bottom, there were some familiar clubs struggling. Spurs spending continued on Ramon Vega. Festa joined the Foreign Legion at Borough. Anders Limpar waved goodbye to Everton. Ice-cool Dennis Bergkamp saw red. Wilkinson made a stumbling start at the FA. David Seaman became an MBE. And Peter Shilton played match number 1000.
Newcastle United Football Club today announced the resignation of manager Kevin Keegan. Kevin informed the board of his wish to resign at the end of the season, having decided he no longer wishes to continue in football management at this stage in his life.
It was the end of a passionate love affair. Kevin Keegan only really wanted to manage one club, but by early January, he'd had enough.
You woke up this morning to see, maybe you hadn't seen some of these headlines.
I'm here to talk about the game. You know the guy who wrote that. End of story.
At Charlton, Keegan refused to discuss rumours that he'd offered his resignation, but 3 days later, he'd quit.
He thinks he's come as far as he can go, and that's it.
Keegan's reign lasted nearly 5 years. It was an emotional ride that transformed Newcastle United.
I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it. I'd like to win something. That is my immediate aim, because I don't remember as a manager who never won anything.
The man chosen to take on Keegan's mantle was Kenny Dalglish. As a player, he'd taken over from Keegan at Liverpool. A proven winner as a manager, many believed Dalglish could now turn Newcastle into champions. His first Premier League game in charge was at the Dell against his old Liverpool pal Graham Souness. It wasn't to be Dalglish's day.
Not cleared. Go to Letitia, and you can guess the rest as he produces yet another fairy tale.
Newcastle would continue to slip up even under Dalglish. The other challengers to Manchester United's crown were following suit. It was turning into a title race of missed chances. Roberto Di Matteo's goal defeated Liverpool, while a Tony Adams' own goal proved Arsenal's downfall at Sunderland. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough's season turned upside down. Brian Robson arrived at the FA to hear his side's punishment for their failure to play a match at Blackburn.
The panel has concluded that Middlesbrough Football Club did not have just cause for unilaterally calling off the match, and that as a result they will face the following penalty. 1. They will have 3 points deducted with immediate effect.
Middlesbrough always maintained they could not field a side due to illness and injury, and that they had consulted with the league. The FA punishment, though, meant Middlesbrough finished the month bottom. The 3-point penalty would prove a real handicap in their battle to stay up. At the top, Liverpool's lead had been cut to 2 points, and the champions had a game in hand. Arsenal and Newcastle were third and fourth. Sven-Goran Eriksson said sorry to Blackburn. Inter Milan's Roy Hodgson said yes please. Forest finally had new owners. Dave Bassett came in as general manager. Keeper Mark Schwarzer went to the Borough. West Ham splashed out £8 million on John Hartson and Paul Kitson. Andrei Kanchelskis left Everton for Italy. Wright and Schmeichel continued to square up. Chelsea opened their own radio station. Alan Shearer was opened up again in a third operation. And England lost in the World Cup to Italy. Alex Ferguson had plenty to smile about in February. Without the added pressure of the Champions League for another month, his side went full throttle for the title. Wins over Wimbledon thanks to a rejuvenated Andy Cole, and then Southampton pushed United to the top of the table. So in mid-February, United were where they wanted to be. Newcastle in fourth weren't the force everyone expected, but when fit, they had Alan Shearer. 3-1 down at home to Leicester. Enter the £15 million man.
It is Shearer. What did I tell you? Spreer, Ferdinand, lovely ball to Shearer, got the shot off. Wouldn't you just know it? Here come Newcastle again. Elliott, Rodley. What an extraordinary day. Newcastle United lead 4-3 in injury time.
Meanwhile at Highbury, they staged one of the most awaited matches of the season. For all the leading clubs, Arsenal against Manchester United had massive significance in the race for the title.
Cole going through now. Shots! Andy Cole has steered United in front with 18 minutes gone. Now Cole has got Solskjaer to his left. First touch was good, so was the second. Berson. Palmer away down the right. Bergkamp here. Dennis Bergkamp! Terrific finish.
It was a severe dent to Arsenal's title hopes. It made Manchester United clear favourites. Their performance was tainted, though, after another unsavoury clash between Ian Wright and Peter Schmeichel. An escalation of their feud, which had started in the league meeting back in November. It took several weeks to cool down. United's win was gained without the suspended Eric Cantona. Still out when United went to Chelsea. After Zola put Chelsea ahead, United were grateful to their rising star.
It's a useful cross. Sinclair. It only dropped to Beckham! Well, every goal he scores is an absolute beauty.
And there was England recognition and the Young Player of the Year award for Beckham. One for the future, already a star. David Beckham helped Manchester United maintain their lead, but there was now a gap of 5 points from Liverpool in second to Newcastle and Arsenal. It was looking like a two-horse race. In March, Liverpool and Newcastle were at it again. Robbie Fowler did his bit for old-fashioned sportsmanship. Across Merseyside, Joe Royle called it a day. Leeds United considered calling time on Tony Yeboah. Pierre Van Hooijdonk joined bottom club Forest. Chris Waddle went back home to Sunderland. No verdict in the match-rigging scandal, so Sagers, Fashanu and Grobbelaar will have to do it all again. Manchester United went through in Europe. So did Liverpool. But Newcastle went out, and Middlesbrough lost their appeal against that 3-point deduction. Southampton under Graham Souness were in the midst of their familiar struggle at the bottom of the table. They were the next opponents for Newcastle, who had to keep winning to stay in touch.
Now Le Tissier. It's Matt Le Tissier. It's a thrilling finish from him.
The challengers to the champions were slipping up, and a day later at Aston Villa, Liverpool followed suit, unconvincing throughout and eventually punished.
Well, the chance here must be goal for Ian Taylor. Villa in front.
So with all those around them showing signs of fallibility, could the champions maintain their momentum?